Okay, first of all, Saturday was a big win for our program. Very happy for our players, very happy for our coaches. Really feel like we're in a good spot for the rest of the season. We're in a position that I really feel like we can improve in all three areas. As far as me turning over the offense and the play calling to Coach Lashley, that's something after the first game that it really hit me that it's 100% best for our team. And we did that, and I really felt like Rhett and Herb and the rest of the offensive staff did a very good job with that. You know, I think we had 6 drives of 50 plus more yards. The big thing is the red zone, and from an offensive standpoint, that's going to be the number one focus, is going to be being productive in the red zone. As far as planning, as far as practice time, that'll be our number one focus as far as that goes. Defensively, thought our guys did a very good job. It was the first time we really faced a pro-style 21 personnel team that was very talented. I thought our defense responded very well. I really felt like a huge time in the game was when the offense turned the ball over on a sudden change. The defense held them to a field goal, and I really felt like that was a sign of really good things to come and things we can build upon. But overall, very happy with the way they responded, Saturday. Moving forward with Louisiana Monroe, our focus is on us. Our focus is on us getting better in all 3 phases. And that's what's on our mind with practice this week and playing them on Saturday. Questions?
Could you status of Paul James?
Paul James has a knee injury. Doesn't look like he'll be back the rest of the season. Very unfortunate. Happened last week in practice. It was kind of a freak deal. He was really doing a great job improving, but it looks like he'll be out for the rest of the season.
Coach, when it comes to turning over play calling, you made so much of your name based
Yeah.
on your offense, based on your system. How much do you wrestle with that decision? How easy or difficult are the choices?
I think when you've been coaching a long time and you've been doing something for 25 years, that's what you're used to doing. And that was really, my plan in the off season was to be more involved, like I talked about. But sometimes the reality hits you. And this day and time in this league, to be the head coach and call an offense is not realistic, at least for me. And it hit me after that first game. And what's best for our team, 100% it's what's best. We've got very good offensive coaches that'll definitely do a great job with that, I believe. And I think they'll get nothing but better. And just for me, during the game, it was very refreshing from the standpoint that I could be there for the special teams, the defense. I wasn't caught up in the next play, and it'll definitely help me, and it'll help me during the week too. To be there more for our players, which is really the most important thing. So that's how it got to where it's at.
Throughout your career, you've been a guard puller. You like to pull guards and use that kind of stuff in the run game. You didn't do much of that the other night. Is that kind of a conscious decision to get away from?
Each game's a little bit different. Okay, there's reasons for sometimes you pull guards, sometimes you don't pull guards. And the other night, we really primarily stuck with inside zone, and we felt like that was the best thing for us. They were playing some odd front, and sometimes in the gap game, when they play odd, you can't get to the backside backer when you pull through, and we were concerned about that, and we were right. So each week's a little bit different, but that was really the main reason. Sometimes odd front, you can get to the backside. Their personnel was really strong, and that was one of the best defenses that we faced, if not the best defense we faced.
Gus, in the spring, you really made a major point to say you felt like a CEO last season.
Yeah.
You weren't going to do that. Just to go back to almost that position, just how hard was that to do, and
Well,
how would you have handled being a CEO in the first 3 games? If you weren't?
say that again.
How would you have handled the first 3 games differently if you did have?
Well,
been a CEO?
I think it's like I said, you do something for so long, and then sometimes reality hits you, and it hit me after game 1, and even game 2 and game 3 slowly started letting, Rhett and Herb do more and more. Then it just finally got to a point that this is what's best for our team. And this day and time in this league, I just don't think it's realistic. And that's what hit me. And that's how we got to this point. And I feel very good about moving forward with where we're at. Like I said, we got the potential to grow a lot on offense. And like I've said before, these guys have been with me a long time, and I've got confidence in them. And we just got to solve our red zone issues. I mean, that's our number one focus right now. And like I said just a second ago, we're going to spend more time in practice. We're going to evaluate, the whole deal in the red zone. If we can solve that, I think we're going to be a pretty good offense.
Gus, how does it change what you do day to day, year to week? What you're doing now as compared to what you were doing?
Yeah, well, the biggest difference is I'm not going to be in that film room for 20 hours a day. I'm going to let them do it. Now, I'll still be on top of things and involved, but it's going to allow me to be there for my players more. I think that's the biggest thing, and the other coaches more. So it was very refreshing last week. From my standpoint, as far as a preparation standpoint overall, just, being more of a head coach, game manager, and everything that goes with it.
So at some point, will Rick come to you and say, hey, here's our plan?
Oh, yeah.
And you'll sign off on it,
Yeah,
basically?
I'll still be on top of things, and in all three phases, is what I'll be.
Gus, for you during the game, you guys always talk. Is this basically you're an extra set of eyes on the game to kind of help out?
Yeah, what I did is I got down at the other end, if you didn't see, and, you can really see the defense different, and you can really see how everything is unfolding, and it was really good. And at the same time, as far as the special teams and the defense and everything that goes with it, it was really good.
I know you're not the type to get into emotions, but what does it feel like as a guy who has obviously been an offensive mind throughout his career to let your ego let that go to the point where you say, I just can't do this anymore?
I think you just, what's best for your team. And like I said, it hit me pretty hard after the first game that, that's how we got to that point. But, it was very refreshing last week during practice, during preparation. I wasn't coaching angry out there Saturday, and that I think that's very big, and it was very refreshing for me, and that's what I'm going to do moving forward.
You feel like you were coaching angry at points this season?
At times. You saw the looks on my face, didn't you?
Well, that's normal.
Yeah.
That's normal.
But that's normal, then I'm definitely doing the right thing.
You talked about how coaching's almost like coaching in dog years. Do you feel like that it was taking time away from you a little bit, that it was kind of wearing on you a little bit too much?
I wouldn't say that. I would say that, you do what's best for your team, and sometimes the reality hits you. Like I said, when you do something for 25 years, it's hard to change, but the time's right, and I'm looking forward to transitioning that way. And after 1 week, I feel very good about that moving forward, and so.
You talk about not coaching angry, and we were kind of joking, like, you always seem angry. I mean, it's the
Yeah.
way it looks on the sideline.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, I mean, you have these pain expressions. You're like, oh, God, bless. But do you feel like...
See that? Did you see that facial?
Yeah.
I look that way? Wow.
But honestly, you don't feel like you coach angry usually?
I probably shouldn't say maybe negative. Okay, I felt like I was too negative the first couple games. That's probably the best thing to do.
Like just getting
Best way.
frustrated by things?
Yeah, living and dying with every play. And, it was real refreshing for me to be on the opposite end of that, where you don't live and die with every play, and you can kind of, look ahead. And you take it back 2 years ago, and we've been, before the last 2 years, we've been one of the best teams in the country year in and year out. And last year and the start of this year, we've been just the opposite. So I think it's just an overall evaluation of all the above. Evaluation of the scheme, what fits our players, the play calling, the all the above, and that's what we're doing. I mean, that's our number one thing from an offensive standpoint that we have to solve, and we're gonna focus like that and like crazy. You will see some different things in the red zone moving forward. Put it that way.
This may sound like a funny question, but do you feel like sometimes having kind of a guy who's almost 100% kicking affects your play calling and everything? You can't take the ball out of.
Say that again.
Do you feel like sometimes having a guy who's almost 100% kicking field goals can kind of change your mindset down there that you can't take any risks to avoid getting free?
No, not down there. I mean, the only time that really comes into play is when you got the ball around the 35 to 40-yard line. Sometimes, because he's got great range. I mean, I'd trust him from 60 in. You may see that moving forward. That's really the only time. When you get down there, you want to score touchdowns. I don't care who your kicker is, you think they're going to make it when you get down there low. So that really doesn't.
Gus, I want to ask a couple of running game questions. First of all, how important was it that there were no negative plays with Petway and carry on?
I thought that was really a key, and that kind of goes back to Rhett and Herb and the offensive staff. I thought they did a really good job adjusting. And, as far as our running back are concerned, I thought Kerryon Johnson was a full-grown man. He was as physical as I've ever seen him. He's running with passion. He broke tackles. They got a lot of guys that can really tackle, and it was a real physical game. But after 4 games, if you look at our running back position, there was a lot of question marks coming into the year about that, and I think those question marks have been answered through 4 games.
And number 2 and 3, how are those guys physically after that game, and also the 2 freshmen? Any possibilities those guys would see more?
Yeah, well, first of all, it was a very physical game. I think everybody saw that. The 2 freshmen we feel are in good spots. They've been getting mainly the number 2 reps for 4 weeks, and they did get some playing time in game 2, but we're getting more and more confidence in those guys. Both of them are very talented, and if called upon, they'll be ready, and we expect them to do well, when called upon.
Do you feel like Kyle needs to have a bigger role, Kyle Davis, moving forward?
Kyle's a guy that you can see that trying to get the ball to, and the thing about Kyle, he didn't go through spring ball. He broke his foot late summer. He practiced for about 3 practices before we played our first game, and so he's still learning as we go. And to answer your question, yeah, his role will increase, each week, and because he's still learning as he goes. And then the young receivers too, the other ones too. We got to figure out a way to bring them along, and that's part of the plan too.
You mentioned Daniel Carlson. How much of a luxury is it to have somebody who gets to the 40-yard line, he's got a shot at points?
He's a game changer. He's a game changer. He's a weapon. You got confidence, to let him kick at 50 plus. There's not a whole lot, probably of coaches that have that luxury. He's a guy that's kicking just about every one in the end zone. The stress of covering kicks, we played 3 top 20 teams, all had great returners back there. He's kicking the thing in the end zone, and hitting people and everything, Don't try to catch his kicks, all right? That's probably the best way.
Have you had something like him before?
Cody Parkey was pretty good, but I don't think Cody had quite the leg. Daniel's like he can kick them from 65, and he can kick them pretty regular from 65.
Gus, I wanted to ask you just about your thoughts of what happened to the oak tree at Tumor's Corner.
Yeah.
Catching fire.
Yeah. First of all, the lady that caught the guy and had enough courage and guts to go call him out, I think that's big, and I hope they punish the guy big time. That's what I hope. It's unfortunate. It's real unfortunate.
Everybody, what do you have thoughts about this, Miles?
Yeah, I mean, Les is a legend. I mean, Les is a guy that, you know, he has helped make the SEC what it is currently. He's one of those guys. He's a great coach. He's a great person. He's a guy that, you know, coming to the SEC, I looked up to. Always treated me great, and you know, you look at our league, and you know, we've lost some legends the last year. You know, with Mark Richt, Steve Spurrier, now Les Miles. I mean, it's unfortunate. I mean, he's one of the best in the business.
He has kind of an odd way of talking about things. He speaks in odd phrases. Does he talk that way with you? Does he say weird things or profound things just when you're talking to him?
I mean, that's what makes him who he is.
Yeah.
And that's why people love him, you know. I hate it.
Do you think he'll land somewhere?
If he wants to, he's one of the best coaches in America. I mean, he can land somewhere he wants to. If he wants to go pro, he can go pro. He's one of the best there is.
Coach, you mentioned Les, you mentioned Mark Richt. Do you think the expectations within this league have almost gotten too high, given the resumes that those guys had?
Well, I mean, those are two of the best to coach in this league in recent history. So, I don't know.
Anything else? James, do you have one?
Yeah,
Not
yes,
Sue?
you said that, to go back to the play calling.
What the crap? What are we doing?
To go back to the play calling issue, you're saying that there's nobody connected to the program inside the building, outside the building, connected to the program who had any influence in your decision making?
Zero. I'm the one that decided.
What's Christie think?
That's probably it.